Once upon a time, in a distant kingdom, there was a young king named Ethan. At just 25 years old, Ethan inherited the throne after the passing of his father. Growing up, Ethan was guided by a wise mentor named Victor, who taught him not only about the world but also about the values of kindness, patience, and wisdom. After Ethan became king, Victor remained his closest advisor, helping him navigate the challenges of ruling a kingdom. As the kingdom's chief minister, Victor's guidance was invaluable to Ethan, and for a while, the kingdom thrived under their leadership. But one year, a severe food crisis struck the kingdom due to a miscalculation in the weather predictions, a mistake made by Victor. Frustrated and angry, Ethan made a hasty decision. Without thinking it through, he ordered Victor, his trusted mentor, to leave the kingdom and never return. With a heavy heart, Victor obeyed. He left the palace and started a new life in a faraway village. Despite his wealth, Victor chose a humble life as a farmer, helping the villagers with their daily struggles. Over time, Victor earned the respect of the villagers, who often came to him for advice on farming and resolving disputes. Back in the kingdom, Ethan struggled to manage without Victor's wisdom. He began to realize his mistake. Banishing Victor was a rash decision made in anger. Regret consumed Ethan, and he decided to send soldiers to search for Victor and bring him back. Weeks passed, but there was no sign of Victor. The kingdom was vast, and no one seemed to know where he had gone. Then, Ethan remembered the clever methods Victor had once taught him. Inspired, he devised a plan to find Victor's wisdom somewhere in the kingdom. Ethan sent a letter and a clay jar to the head of every village. The letter instructed the village leaders to return the jar filled with wisdom within a month. If they couldn't, they were to fill it with precious jewels instead. The letter and jar eventually reached the village where Victor now lived. The puzzled village leader turned to Victor for advice. "Wisdom can't be put into a jar," Victor mused, "and the village doesn't have enough jewels to fill it either." The villagers, worried about the king's request, pleaded with Victor to help. With a calm smile, Victor reassured them. "Hand me the jar," he said. "I'll make sure it's filled with wisdom by the end of the month." The villagers trusted Victor and left the jar in his care. One day, while tending his farm, Victor noticed a small pumpkin vine growing nearby. An idea sparked in his mind. Gently, he placed a tiny pumpkin inside the jar without cutting it off the vine. Each day, he watered it, and as the pumpkin grew, it filled the entire jar, making it impossible to remove. When the pumpkin was fully grown, Victor cut the vine and sent the jar with the pumpkin inside back to the kingdom. When King Ethan received the jar, he was astonished. Inside was a perfectly grown pumpkin, filling the jar completely. Smiling, Ethan said, "Growing a pumpkin this large inside a jar is the work of a wise mind." This clever solution could only come from Victor. Without hesitation, Ethan prepared to travel personally to find Victor, apologize, and bring him back to the kingdom.